Welcome everybody to a collaboration that you've all not been asking for here with Nobby on Cars, Mark Noble, and we're here in just outside Lisbon, in Portugal.
You got me in a headlock last night in the hotel bar. I said, want to do a video?
You want to do a video, yeah. We're on all these trips all the time. And it was interesting yesterday, I went for the GT line EV3. My thoughts thinking that people would go for the top trim, and Mark said he's going to go for the blue one. So if you want more in-depth videos, Mark is this one.
I've got the cheap one, the baby one.
Affordable.
But actually, and I would often do that, I would go for the, well, maybe even the mid-spec, because you're thinking the way Irish consumers think. But then, last night we were told that actually order books so far have swung in favour of the GT line.
In a big way.
Now, possibly that's because, again, these were kind of pent-up demand cars, people who are holding out for it, maybe they're a little bit more early adopters and all that stuff, so they would want the higher spec, the nicer looking, or is it nicer looking? That's the question.
Yeah, there's not much in the difference physically now on the outside. The lights are the same, and it's just a bit down at the grille, really.
Yeah, but let me cut to
POV cam.
Something I made earlier, and just give you an idea then of what is different. So obviously the headlights are no different, but straight away you see this is I don't want to call that chrome. It's obviously some sort of recycled,
shiny or silver.
Yeah, but then when you cut across to the GT line, obviously you have all this high gloss black, and that goes into the front grille, and this is more of a grey graphite effect. But for people who put their cars through automatic car washes, which is terrible, that black high gloss scrapes. Or even driving down country road and you're going past.
Heard this when we did the EV9. A lot of people were saying that, God, that's a car that's going to get a lot of scratches on it. So, and I like to call this the ombre mustache, the black on the front of it. So it reminds me of, whereas this one has a bit more of a. Yeah. But on the front, you wouldn't, unless you're really keen, and that's same with all the Kias, EV6 as well, there are subtle differences between the trim lines. Yeah. We're going to move down along the side then with regards to point of view.
Yeah, okay.
And just the difference in the side panels on both trims. Again, not a lot in it, and we'll flip the camera around to the back.
So obviously this is now hard, more durable plastic. It's broken up by the lower part. You do get high gloss on the roof rails. You still get high gloss on the A-pillar, because that would look terrible if that was hard plastic. So yeah, this is, I mean, I don't think a lot of car companies now are putting different materials here, so if you scuff that, it's not as obvious. If you do scuff that, it's going to look different. I know that would bother some people. They don't like this.
The matte.
Reminds them of a bumper on a car in the
and that's what it is.
90s or whatever, you know, so it's different. The lights the wheels on this, it's a little bit of diamond cut. There is a bit of tire sticking out proud. That tree tripping on my head, which will hopefully preserve the wheels if you come in contact with a curb.
GT line then has the colour coding below it.
So what do you think of that?
Yeah, they're both fine looking cars, you know what I mean? I don't think you'd pick it over the looks. It's obviously the extra bits, and the GT line on this trim has the sunroof. Now you can get the sunroof on the Earth as well.
Like obviously they're not square, but they give you the impression that they're kind of square. I'm not sure if I like.
What do they call that? Opposites? What's their design language? Opposites unite?
Opposites attract.
Opposites unite. Just like this collaboration video. Opposites unite.
But I do think the overall shadow line, high gloss, whatever you want to call it, car washes aside, it does look better.
Yeah, if you can keep it. We'll swip the cameras around to the back so we can quickly look at the rear. There's very little at the rear. Down at the rear, it is, again, just this little bit at the bottom, glass black here, and on Mark's Earth line, it is matte. But same size boot, 460 litres, which is decent.
Correct, yeah. I've only just realised as well, in some ways it kind of reminds me of an i3 over the back. And I haven't thought of that until literally now. Yeah,
that little quarter panel here with that little bit here, I just said in my video.
Which is a shame. That car is ahead of its time. A bit like the Jag I-Pace, in my opinion. And it's a pity that BMW are still making the i3. It's a great electric car, it really was.
Outside, yeah, absolutely. Well, I can't say that. Internally then, a small bit of difference, and we'll go on POV camera, but the steering wheel, I took a picture of the two-spoken Marks yesterday, And it was, some people are like, oh, I don't like that. It reminds them of the old Aston Allegro steering wheel that Johnny Smith is reviving with that horizontal. And in Korea, we would have seen orange inlays where we're getting blue inlays. So they think obviously we don't want the orange inlays. And the seat then, the breakdown of the seat, the colour and the upper and the lower.
That's nice there, yeah.
Yeah, is slightly different on the Earth trim. And then if we rock over to the GT line, it's a much more two-tone effect. And it's a 3-spoke steering wheel with the drive modes internally in the 6 o'clock position. Both have head-up units. Both have the same electric motor. So it's aesthetically really, there are a couple of tweaks, don't get me wrong. You get blind spot, wireless charging pad.
Now the Earth, that's an Earth 3. So that has all those things. It's more, the seat's a little bit different, obviously the steering wheel. That steering wheel is much lighter.
Yeah.
And it's not on these cars, but someone else replied to a video the other day and said, oh, the more recycled materials, the more brittle they are. That's just, I don't get that in any cars that are using PETs and stuff. It doesn't necessarily feel recycled.
And this one has that QR code on the dash that you can scan, and it'll show you where everything is coming from. They really highlight 10 sustainable products that they have and materials that they have. But otherwise, yeah, as I said, if you want to see more of an in-depth review on both, we're both obviously talking about both models in our own videos, but Mark took the blue one yesterday, I took the green one, took it for a drive, inside, outside, the usual stuff. Any final comments, Mark?
No, the main thing for me was, and it was actually, the weather wasn't great in Portugal yesterday, but it gave you an indication of what Irish roads would be like. And we were on mountain roads and the car handled pretty well, actually. It's not particularly heavy by EV standards, but there were a couple of times where just the front tyres were just starting to snap on the edge of maybe 80, 90 kilometers an hour if you were accelerating hard.
Yeah.
So it's 204 brake horsepower going through the front wheel. Not anything like the last, I mean,
very skiddy
couple, the gens back E-Nero, which really was quite, that car would catch you out. There was so much torque on.
Couldn't get the power down at all at roundabouts or junctions, and if it was anyway wet at all.
Anyway wet, or anyway where your tyres were kind of in a state of, come on, you need to change me, and people just put it off for so long. So I would definitely stick if you buy one of these next time you need tyres, which hopefully is a while away, I would stick with whatever's on the car, because if you go cheap,
you'll know about it.
I think you'll struggle to get the power down, to be honest with you.
I really liked the iPedal drive system and that whole regenerative braking and having the full stopping. I'm a bit of a nerd about that.
Just to explain to people, they're not charging you for things like heated seats, and they are charging you to watch YouTube and Netflix on the inbuilt screen of the car while you charge. That won't work for even a passenger when you're driving, which is a shame because it's costing a lot of money. But like Audi can do that with their extra
privacy screen,
great looking screen they slapped on the dash. But what's this subscription that is at the moment free? And it kind of reminded me of Volkswagen's Travel Assist, where you drive towards a roundabout and the car will regen for you. What's that about?
And I asked it at the press conference, and I said, because it stated that it's going to be part of that Kia Connect. And so it's that regenerative braking, the ability, the adaptive stuff that you see in Volkswagens, but also the fact that you can have one pedal drive at multiple levels of regenerative braking. So a lot of brands either don't do it at all, or like Kia do a really good job of one pedal driving, and you can really work the pedals. And at the moment, as Mark was saying, that they're offering it, they're saying it's free. When they say at the moment, that's what caught me out.
It just, for all the things to charge for, that seemed particularly weird.
Yeah. Maybe we caught them wrong. Maybe we just misquoted them. And when I asked him, is it free at the moment? And he said, yes. He didn't say it'll always be free.
Yeah.
And it might be a language barrier thing. I can't see them charging for something like that. It's not a convenience. It's, in my essence, it's a necessity.
Yeah. So good entry price, absolutely. I think the GT line is too close to other things, bigger things. For me, I would probably prefer a facelift EV6 over a GT line one of these. Yeah. But if I wanted to get an EV, and I'm sick and tired of seeing cars that are 40 grand, you can get one of these for.
Yep.
And like even the standard car is pretty well spec'd.
And decent range.
A decent range, decent efficiency. Something. You know, there was just bits of the car in terms of technology and stuff that is coming along quickly. But that said, and it's testament to the EV6, even the current pre-facelift EV6 is still a very relevant car.
Yeah.
With the 800 volt charging, all the rest of it. So it just shows you Korea are, I think personally, at least 4 or 5 years ahead of everybody else And the proof that the EV6 is still a relevant car
and
kind of backs that up.
And more cars coming towards in the next year. EV5, EV4.
5 new cars.
And commercial vehicles then as well.
Which must be difficult to, again, you're like, will I hold off for this model? Will I wait? Will I, so look, more cars is a good thing, but yeah, there is now a lot of choice out there.
And they're great cars.
Heading into 2025.
Yeah. Mark, thank you very much for your time.
No
Go
problem.
to Mark's channel if you haven't already watched the video for the blue one and other videos. If you haven't already subscribed to him, please do so. And if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thank you very much for watching.
Cheers.